Welcome back. Here now, we're talking about medical misdiagnosis. We've heard from a lawyer, we've heard from a doctor. Now we're going to hear from some entrepreneurs who've created a system, an online system, to help prevent medical misdiagnosis and allow you, the patient, to benefit from second opinions. Pleased to be joined by Noman Jaffer. You're the CEO of Marketech, which is a company that created the online health tool called Your Doc Online.
Your Doctors Online.
Your Doctors Online. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And we also have Salim Akhtar, also with Marketech and Your Doctors Online. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
So you've heard from the lawyer, you've heard from the doctor, and you know that the situation of misdiagnosis happens. About 15 to 20% cases out there that where diagnosis gets not correctly diagnosed, rather an ailment, and the situation could lead to thousands of deaths, which have happened in with Canadians as well. What are your thoughts on why this problem happens?
Okay. So I think I want to be able to, whenever I look at a problem, I want to be able to get to the crux, the roots of that problem, right? So I believe misdiagnosis is a result of something that's happening in our system. There's a couple of things that we all know. One is there is a fact that there's a shortage of doctors in Canada. There's about 2.1 doctors per 1,000 population in Canada versus developed OECD country, which is 3.2. So that's one problem. We have a shortage. The second problem...
I don't understand. We have so many immigrants that come into Canada, so many doctors that come into Canada having to drive taxi cabs. Why is there not a system where we can utilize the expertise that we have driving taxi cabs in our hospitals?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So the second, I believe the problem that is in the marketplace is basically just the aging population, right? If you look at the stats, the baby boomers are getting old, and there's much more that's happening with the healthcare. Mm-hmm. And the third and most important thing that's happening in Canada is it's a booming healthcare costs. It's about $80 to $90 billion, 25% almost of our GDP. Mm-hmm. It takes away. It's predicted to grow from 80 to 90 to about 140 billion in the next 12 to 14 years.
Well, and just to add to the point where you said, the baby boomers are, becoming seniors, the number of seniors is actually going to be doubling in the next 15 years.
Yeah. So if you compound both, less doctors for more population, for more senior population, aging population, there's bound to have misdiagnosis. Whether it's a 5%, 15, 20%, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, there is a reason. That's the root cause that we are trying to resolve with our solution.
Okay. So what was the reason why you decided to tackle this problem?
So I have my personal story. I'm pretty sure that anybody who's actually watching here, like we ourselves, our loved ones, whether it's our family, our kids, our parents, and they have gone through what we would typically call a chronic disease. And a chronic disease definition is something that is life-threatening, like a cardiologist or a heart, a cancer for an oncologist, and things like that actually could result in a death. So my own personal story is basically my aunt, who I believe was misdiagnosed for about 2 to 3 months as having stomach flu. Well, in fact, she had, what they found out, she had stage 3 cancer after about 2 to 3 months. Was one thing that actually deeply motivated me to do something about it. Unfortunately, it was a sad end to the story. She passed away, but I wanted to do something about that, right? And I wanted at least nobody else, at least if I can save somebody's life by giving them that opinion, giving them that platform to be able to get that second opinion. That was my personal motivation to actually start doing this.
Okay. Salim, so as far as online tools go, is this a popular phenomenon, or is this something that's just getting started?
It's just like all the user and services, they are changing mode. You mentioned Google and all other kind of internet services that are now available, which were not there, say, 10 to 15 years back. We see our service just like an Uber for doctor and patients. Just like Uber connects drivers and the passengers, our service actually tries to connect the patients and the doctors. So anywhere, anytime, a patient who is trying to get his or her chronic disease diagnosed, he or she can come online, register with your doctors online, provide his documentation, and then a certified, experienced doctor from North America would actually provide the second opinion at pretty low cost. See, we had a survey, we did some research before launching this product, and we're trying to place ourselves between say $500 to $600 for the market, which is pretty low as compared to somebody paying when he has to commute to the doctor, he has to get the lab test done and going through all the hassle that is required. But in our case, it's basically sitting from home. You can actually log in, you can provide your documentation, and you can get opinion from the doctor from the comfort of your home. This is a phenomenon which is evolving, and I think the shape of the medical service would not be as such, it will not remain the same as we see it today. Noman mentioned the shortage of doctors, so this is one way of optimizing the use of doctor as well, because the doctor can actually provide the service in a shorter time as compared to when a patient is actually visiting the doctor.
So I mean, this wouldn't be something that you would use if you just have a simple cold. You wouldn't go online and say, I've got a cold.
We are
prescribe
purely
me something.
targeting the chronic and rare diseases, and as you mentioned before in your previous talk, oncology, that's the area, cancer, that's one of the areas which is major. We did a survey in North America, in South Asia, and the findings we get, oncology is something that people rarely want second opinion everywhere, because it's something which is life-threatening, and people want to get their loved ones saved from a mortality.
For sure. You know, I've heard of cases where people did not feel satisfied with the diagnosis they got in Canada, and they would go down south to the US to get another doctor look at you know, the patient and provide an opinion. I guess when you factor in the costs of traveling to the US,
That's right.
you know, that's something, although there is also some comfort in actually having a face-to-face with a doctor, walking into the clinic and telling the doctor what your illness is, and you know, the doctor sees you. How do you mitigate that, that doubt with the patients?
Yeah, so I'll give you an answer with an example. So if you go back 5, 10 years or 15 years, we all wanted to go and shop at the malls, right? So if you fast forward
I
the
know
movie
where this
today,
is going.
Amazon is one of the biggest threats to the Walmarts, to the Sears, to the Hudson Bays. You can pretty much see what's happening, right? So that's just one example. So think of the example that that Salim gave of Uber for health. I want to actually take that example even further, right? What we are creating, yourdoctors.online, is like a virtual hospital. It's on the net, and anybody from anywhere in the world is able to actually access some of the world's best specialists or world-class specialists who are board certified here in Canada or in North America or in US, right? So that's what I want to be able, that's our grand vision, is basically that we want to be able to actually position it. Now that virtual hospital is niche in the sense that you can only come if you have a chronic disease. That's where we want to be started.
So chronic diseases include
Cardiology, cancer, diabetes, neurology, pediatric. Like I would spend anything on my kids if they have anything, right? So pediatric care, nephrology, and all the diseases that actually will impact your life in the long term, and that could result in death if not treated properly.
Okay. Now, is this concept currently in the market, but being used by other companies, or?
So we are actually, we are proud to be the first one who is actually doing this at the scale and the business model that we are implementing. So your doctors online, you could be sitting in Timbuktu for all we care, and you can still be able to access the best doctors here in North America. So it's a B2C, what we call a doctor, a specialist to a patient direct model from anywhere in the world.
Okay.
So that's one piece, which is a core differentiator. The other piece is that there is similar concepts, like I won't name some of them, but there's a few of them out there. But you have to have insurance to be able to actually access the doctors online. With our case, we've actually removed that piece from our case. And so that's how you could be in anywhere in Dubai or in South Africa or in South Asia or in China, you will still be able to access some of the best specialists in North America.
And a couple of things I'd like to build on that. Basically, the evolution, millennials are coming, so their habits, their approach towards not only shopping, but everything is different. And that's why we say that in the next 10 to 15 years, the way people perform their day-to-day actions in a society, that will also change, and so will be the medical services. And you have to get ready now. And on top of it, basically what Noman said, if you look at the marginalized communities in different countries, this platform is actually an access to all those marginalized communities across the globe. You talk of Aboriginals here, even you talk of Canadian diaspora, which is out there internationally, people who are serving Canada on humanitarian assignments and military assignments and diplomatic missions. If they want to get a second opinion, they want to get a second opinion from a North American doctor, they can actually do it online with a minimal cost. So there are big benefits that we can actually bring to not only to the Canadian market, but to the global market through this solution, through this brand that we are trying to build for Canada.
Okay, and you mentioned millennials, and they're actually the new age, the new generation that everyone's really paying a little bit of attention to. We also talked about the seniors. Not likely that seniors will probably use an online tool. Yeah. Perhaps their children might, or that might be the case, but I see it as the way of the future, where our generation is more used to everything being online, as you had mentioned. But do you expect millennials to really just run with this?
Yeah, so I believe to the example that you gave, I think somebody who's, 65, 70 years old, I've seen some 70, 75 years old who are very, very tech savvy and they use the computer, but you're absolutely right. Our target market, most of the misdiagnoses are happening. The older you go, the more chances that you will be getting a chronic disease, right? But they always have some loved one who is a millennial, who is in that bracket, who actually is used to all these things. So our target market, we've done, as Salim pointed, we've done a number of surveys globally, where we've found that there are a lot of people who are in the millennials, 35 and below. They're not that interested. They don't even know what's a chronic disease because they haven't, the chances of them going through this in closed circle is very low. But when we actually hit that age bracket of 40 and above, yes, they get that.
Yeah, and you're going to need to use health system more and these kind of tools.
Absolutely.
I know you launched yesterday. Congratulations. Maybe in the last minute or so, you can just tell us a little bit about any challenges or opportunities. And
yeah, actually, yeah, absolutely. I see every challenge as an opportunity. It has been over a year since we actually started. 3 of us are co-founders of this product. Left a very lucrative job to actually start this project, and at the end of the day, it's been the journey of entrepreneurship, as I'm sure a lot of people would know, is not easy, but the best side of it is twofold. One is a huge amount of learning that I've done over the last 1.5 years that we've been doing this, and secondly, creating a legacy, leaving behind something, right? All of us can work for somebody. Why not create something for our next generation?
Excellent. Well, it sounds like an amazing tool. So good luck with as you continue with that. Thank you very much for being here. And so that was Your Doctors Online for anyone who wishes to check that out. Thank you, Noman. Thank you, Salim, for being here. We're going to come back and close up with another great guest. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you.